Welcome to Ideas All Day podcast, where we definitely sometimes experts on things that do not matter and no one knows about because that's a secret. And where we discuss some ideas and then we put them in piles, like the good ideas pile, the bad ideas pile, and just the ideas pile. So why don't we do some introductions? Ajax, why don't you start off today? How are things going for you today?
Today, it has been fine.
I'm doing fine, Ajax. I had a decent day.
Oh, good.
I had to work today, but it wasn't too bad. Yeah. So, Kate, how are you doing today?
Good.
That's great. Let's move on.
I had a busy day. Watched a little reality TV, and I purchased some festival tickets and some stuff for the festival on an internet online shopping platform. But yeah,
I forgot to add for myself that I watched Ryan Reynolds today, and I did not fall asleep.
In person?
In person. This person here watched Ryan Reynolds.
In what? What did you watch him in?
The Adam Project.
Isn't that the new movie that just came out?
Don't know.
I think it is.
It was on the Netflixes.
Oh, okay. Yes. It's where he goes sees his younger self. Yeah, that's
and the Hulk
very
was
new.
in it.
Who was
the
in
Hulk
it?
was
Actual
the
Hulk?
dad. The Hulk was the dad.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yes. I kept on thinking he was Mark Rubio, but that was not the right Mark.
Not Lou Ferrigno.
Not Lou Ferrigno.
No, or Edward Norton.
Edward Norton was the Hulk.
A Hulk.
Yeah.
Yes. And then there was another guy who I can't remember his name.
Yeah, no one remembers his name. It's okay.
It's going to drive me nuts, though.
Wait, Lou Ferrigno was the Hulk too?
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno was the Hulk, the Green Hulk.
In the TV series.
Oh.
From the 70s.
Yep.
Thanks.
Where he was hitchhiking on the road. Was the beginning.
He
and the
wasn't.
end.
He wasn't.
No,
The
not
actor
Lou
playing
Ferrigno.
Bruce Banner
Yes.
was doing that, but
yes.
Well, thanks for that data. I didn't have that.
You know me with all the random weird pop culture references.
yeah.
You are random and weird.
I never really understood why the Hulk was made, of all the superheroes, was made into a TV show and not like Captain America, or who was, just as popular in that kind of time frame. I mean, obviously had Batman, which made sense, but why the Hulk? Just why the Hulk?
Didn't Captain America, he had a movie early on and I don't think it did well, and that's why they didn't make it a TV series.
Yeah, but why would they decide the Hulk?
The Hulk was sci-fi, and at that time sci-fi things like the $1 Million Man and things like that were popular in our zeitgeist. So I think that's why the Hulk was chosen over Captain America.
I don't know. I don't know. It felt like such a weird concept to make a non-serialized, basically Marvel TV show when even that kind of stuff wasn't that popular at the time.
Well, like other things were a little bit harder to do. Like Hulk's easy. Hulk gets mad. Hulk smashes things. Captain America has a shield and he does fun things with it.
He throws it.
That might be harder. And there's guns and stuff. And
they did it with Batman.
Guns.
They could have made it as campy as Batman if they wanted to, and they didn't.
I don't think they wanted that property didn't lend itself to be. No, that again, neither did the Batman. But I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I stand firm with the decision to use Hulk as a TV series.
Yeah. Versus like Wonder Woman made sense. Like, I think Wonder Woman made a hell of a lot more sense than the Hulk did. That's all. It just feels felt very much like the Hulk would be too one-dimensional versus other types of heroes. Because that's my just personal feeling.
But it's also easy then because he just has to get mad in every episode once. Yeah, and then it's kind of like Sailor Moon. They have to have one transformation scene. Like there has to be a reason for them to transform. It was the same thing with the Hulk. It's very formulaic. When you have a really strong formula, it's easier to write for. Like what situation are we going to get Bruce Banner in where he gets upset and turns into the Hulk?
He didn't get the vanilla ice cream on his banana split.
Exactly. And then he just hulks out, destroys the ice cream parlor.
Yep.
I mean, that's worth green paint.
Yep.
That might be
Smeared all
worth,
over you.
that'd be worth watching. But speaking of watching, Ajax, why don't you tell the listeners what is the topic for this week?
Today is ideas for reality TV.
Brr, 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 brr.
Boop, 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 boop.
Alex, since you're so enthused about this topic, why don't you give us your ideas first?
Yay.
Go, Alex, go.
Hooray. Okay, I guess I can get started. All right. So my first idea is something that comes straight from personal experience, and that is having a reality TV show around the day-to-day life of zookeepers. Just something I know personally very well. It's something that I've did for many years, and it has a very misunderstood profession, very overlooked because, you know, most people think you just pick up crap all day and don't understand the nuances of it. You don't understand about, you know, the relationship not only with the animals, but with the visitors, upkeep of things, but also, you know, dealing with kind of sometimes really mean people and getting to be mean to other people who are just being idiots. Or also about kind of how the people that are getting literally paid really terrible wages are also your first line of defense if something goes horribly wrong and they have to protect you. They're literally bodyguards that get paid like people that work at McDonald's, but they're passionate people that would talk to you about what interests them. Even if it's only for one season, but something where you can either go to a small zoo and see what work is like there, maybe go to San Diego, because they're such different places. And the amount of people that work at each one, the dynamics of it, and even just the workplace drama is always ridiculous. Good God, the amount of workplace drama, even in a small place, or the administrative drama where you go, oh, we may not get paid this week because we didn't get enough donations or didn't, you know, have enough visitors come through, or the grant we were hoping for didn't go through. It's that kind of stuff where you almost have people going, do I still go to work? Do I still show up? Would it hurt the animals? I mean, that's the kind of stuff where those monologues could work out pretty well, in my opinion. So that's my idea number one. Idea number two is very much nowhere down to earth. In fact, it's in space. I want a reality TV show about what it's like to live in space as an astronaut. And I know they always have documentaries. I know there's always interviews and things like that. And obviously, there might be classified things going on with the experiments, but just to know, what is it like living there? Obviously, like on the ISS, you have people from all over the world living there. Is there international drama? Obviously, certain things going on right now could affect that. What are the stressors that goes through it? I think it'd be very interesting to watch the day-to-day life of these folks. So that's our idea number two. Idea number three is, what is it like to be in mime school? I mean, obviously, it's not something we deal with and see a lot of nowadays, but I mean, you got to think people that are passionate of it are going to be doing it, and it'd be completely silent, or have it be like subtitled the whole way. So they don't even have to speak English, but they talk in mime. And people that are almost tortured artists that know they may not get anywhere, but still love the craft and seeing how they do it, or even making into a competition. I don't know if that would work out as well, but I think it'd be interesting. So mime school. Number four is a bit of a mashup between two different reality shows that already exist. And that's Dancing with the Stars mixed with MasterChef, or I call it Cooking with the Stars, where you have celebrities that train with top chef on cooking techniques, different things, and they have to, at the day of the competition, get a theme or get something and have to plan, you know, a 3-course meal. And the chaos that went to it. And it would be a competition between all these different teams of celebrities, and it would get more and more complex as time goes on, but they would constantly be getting more and more training. So again, number 4, Cooking with the Stars. And last, but certainly not least, is to have a reality TV show about the life of an Instagram influencer. Now, most people look at Instagram and look at all these influencers and think they live these charmed lives. I want to know if there's someone out there that has this, would be willing to share that life, where what it is, the life that's in front of the camera different that's what's behind the camera, and they're willing to tell the true story of it, not just kind of what the pictures say. I mean, the pictures that say they're always seem to be out of the country on a beach somewhere, is that really true? Do they make that much money? Or, you know, the ones that are always jet setting somewhere, or when it turns out they're just on a set taking pictures that, you know, and advertising for a product, and then go home to their 1-bedroom apartment. I want to know that kind of stuff, and what it's like, you know, what's the day-to-day challenges. I think it'd be interesting. And the drama, especially if you meet other Instagrammers and then they start bickering between each other. And those are my ideas.
Thanks, Alex. Let me pile your ideas first. Your first idea for the Zookeeper reality TV show, the first thing I thought of when you said this was Tiger King and Steve Irwin.
Tiger King,
I know.
I'm just
going
to say
it's not even a real
now.
zoo.
It's not. Well, number one, it's not a real zoo. Number two, he exploits those animals. He exploits he's there for money.
I couldn't watch Tiger King.
It was the worst.
I could not watch it.
I did. I watched it.
Oh my God. It was
and
a train wreck.
And I'm almost done watching Carol versus Joe. But I like the idea. I would put this in the ideas pile, leaning towards good. And how I could see this working is if each season you did a different zoo. Mm-hmm. So if the first season you do like San Diego, next season maybe a small zoo, third season international zoo, just to get different perspectives and different storylines and different drama. So yeah, ideas leaning towards good. I feel like people would enjoy this. What's it like to live in space, the day-to-day life? Ideas pile. I'm not really interested too much. I could see that on, I don't know if everybody remembers or if it even exists, the channel Nova or the programming Nova. I could see that like being on that channel. So ideas. Mind school. Now, when I first heard this, I was thinking, oh, this is a hard, bad ideas pile. But then I thought about the reality TV shows that I actually like to watch. And the reality TV shows that I like to watch usually have nothing to do with what I can do or have any like skill or competency in. So if it's not all silent, if there's actually like drama there, it could actually be entertaining. So I'm going to put this in the ideas pile.
I want to see a mime fight. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I want to see
paint.
Like, what kind of
everywhere?
Like what kind of drama do these people get into? Yeah. Like, is there territorial fights over what corner people want to work and stuff like that?
Or people that just maybe can't gotta come to the realization they can't survive doing it.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know.
Like what corner? You mean like
no, like
corner
street
of the
corner.
box that you're in?
Like street corner.
Oh no,
like
I thought you're all like arguing over the corner of the box that you're currently in.
No,
that would be hilarious.
Cooking with the Stars, a bad ideas pile. It's cooking. I don't watch cooking shows. I get no joy out of cooking shows. The only thing that would save this idea if it was Gordon Ramsay, who was the celebrity judge and instructor, and he just yelled at celebrities the whole time.
God. He would have to be.
That
he
I
could
would
be an
watch.
Instructor. Well, yeah, but then you're just doing Hell's Kitchen at that point.
Yeah, but with celebrities.
Yeah.
So that I would watch. Instagram influencer. I believe this exists. I think there is a reality show about how Instagrammers became popular and how they actually live their lives. Also, this is kind of reminiscent of like keeping up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people that are like
earnest,
like came up from nowhere.
Yeah,
and not someone who came up from being a model or it might. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it does. So since it exists and it has some merit, I'll put it in the ideas pile.
Yeah, I just don't want it where it's like, because I know there's shows that exist about Instagram or influencers doing crazy things and having these crazy lifestyles.
But those are my pilings. Ajax, why don't you give us your pilings?
Alrighty then. So for your first idea of zookeepers, the day-to-day life, after hearing some of the stories that you used to go through, I think this is a great idea. It's going to be on the good ideas pile because, I mean, there's already so much drama. And plus, if you're getting into like all aspects of zookeeping, so not just from like the zookeeper's perspective, but like even, you know, getting into the different areas of nonprofit life. Like it can be kind of dramatic in terms of that. You don't normally see that in any type of reality TV, at least nowadays. It's not very glamorous, but it's kind of interesting. So yeah, I'll put this on the good ideas pile. For the second idea of what it's like to live in space, I will put this in the ideas pile. I'll probably watch it just to see what it's like to go to the bathroom. But after that, it's like just like floating along in everyday life. You know, there's a lot of beep booping in my mind of what space is. There's lots of beep booping.
Yeah, but I'm interested in like what are the interactions between the other astronauts? Not just the experiments they do, but the interactions. Because people have had sex in space. It has been confirmed. So I'm just saying there's obviously things going on up there. And they know they're being monitored most of the time. So I'm just saying. They know what's going on.
Would they show that is the thing?
No, but obviously there's drama, there's interactions that we don't think about when we think of astronauts.
That's true. Right now I'm playing an ideas pile.
That's
I'll have
fine.
to watch some episodes and then I'll regrade. So your third idea of mime school, I think this is hilarious. There could be, if it's just completely silent the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good ideas pile just because there's going to have to be drama. If not,
what's the point?
Isn't a mime life drama constantly? They're always stuck in a box. Like once they're out of the box, do they ever get out of the box is the question.
Life is a box.
Yeah.
They're just showing us that we're still all in it.
That was deep. It was very deep.
Like a well.
So then your fourth idea of cooking with the stars. You've already got a ring to it. So I'm going to put this in the ideas pile leaning towards good. Just because you've got a good name to it. It's got a little jingle and people already can associate that with Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So
and people love MasterChef. These are literally two shows that have worked out so well.
Yeah. And if you already have some sense of who that person is that's on it and like some sort of sense of what their personality is like, I'd probably end up watching it.
And then you have
like an episode or two. And
not to mention you have people, they're teams. So they're working in the kitchen together, which requires team effort. And they have to learn to work as a team if they've never worked together before. And then the chaos that can ensue with that. It's like if you have someone else, two people cooking in the kitchen, then they're stumbling over each other, or if they work in perfect unison, it's still entertaining to watch.
Yeah. So for your fifth idea of a life about an Instagram influencer, I'm putting this one in ideas leaning towards bad because I just find it's just like all about the video, all about the picture, all about what you're trying to promote. Mm-hmm. And until then, it's just like rush, get the picture, get the good thing, moving on. I don't know. I don't find Instagram influencers very influencing.
That's understandable. That's why I was like, I don't even use Instagram, but I
use Instagram pretty regularly. And it's just like, I have no interest of being on it all the time or learning about the people who are on it. That's the thing.
It's like it always feels like the people on it, unless they're super famous or already famous before that, to me, it's like, do they live these lifestyles? Do they not? Are they just trying to get clout to hopefully get some either ads or do other stuff? But whatever the case may be, like, what is that life like if you're just chasing the next picture? Do you even look at your own life after that? Again, lots of questions.
If you want to check out how Ideas All Day lives their life, you can check us out on our Instagram at Ideas All Day Podcast.
Shameless plug.
Well, someone has to, since somebody in this group doesn't have Instagram.
You're right.
So those are my pilings. Thanks, Alex.
Well, no, thank you, Ajax, for your honesty. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, how about you tell us your ideas?
I would love to tell you my ideas for my reality TV shows. So for my first reality TV show, I call it The Real Lives of Grandparents. Because as I've been getting older, I've realized that like mentally, I'm still the same immature 20-something-year-old. And I feel like that's going to continue. And grandparents have this like, oh, you got to be careful what you say in front of grandma and grandpa. And it's like they've seen some shit and they have lived some shit and they are probably still doing some crazy ass shit. So I would love to have a reality TV show where you follow like assisted living home with these older people and finding out all the chaotic things they get into and all the crazy shit they talk about. So that's my first idea. My second idea is a multi-seasoned idea. So I call it fest culture. So each season follows a different kind of festival circuit. So be it a music festival, a Burning Man festival, sports festivals. There's so many different kinds of festivals, and there's all these different cultures that are within the festivals. So it'd be kind of cool to follow the ups and downs of what happens with each of these groups and the different challenges each group faces and expectations and limitations and such. So that one's called Fest Culture. My next idea is called Princess and the Penis. Basically, this is a reality TV show that follows drag pageant competitions. So I'm a huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. And on that show, there's all different kinds of queens. And one of the queens, like I kept on running into, were these pageant queens. And there's actually like a whole pageant circuit that drag queens perform at. It would be like Toddlers and Tiaras, but for drag. And the thing is, there's a lot of drag out there. There's a gazillion different seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race with different countries, different varieties of Drag Race. And then there's like Dragula, which is a mix of like drag and Fear Factor. But I kind of want to see the pageant side. I never really got to experience the pageant side. So Princess and the Penis is my third idea. I want to have a reality TV show that follows people who make reality TV shows. And you can see like how much of the show is actually manufactured and the drama behind the scenes to get the people in the reality show to act and behave the way that the producers want them to, or how the producers actually edit the reality TV show to make it fit the narrative that they want. Maybe call it making of a reality TV show. I don't know. And then my last idea, which is also my favorite idea. So you have The Voice, where you have coaches that pick their singers, not based on looks, but based on their voice. And then they coach them up and they compete with the other vocalists. I kind of want something similar where there's a group of musicians and they're of different experience types. So you have people who are somewhat novice, intermediate, and then like ridiculously expert level musicians. So you have coaches and they kind of do a draft and they draft their band. So they have their guitarist, their bassist, their drummer, their lead singer. They might have a rhythm guitarist. They might have a horn section, whatever. They can create their band however they want to. And then the drama that ensues when you're forcing different musicians together to come up with different music together to then try to win a certain cash prize. And how they're judged is by the crowd reaction. So they start off in the beginning of the series with smaller venues, like bars and tinier venues. But as the show progresses, the bigger and bigger the venue gets until they're at like a huge stadium for the season finale. And the crowd will determine which band is the best band of the night. And then it kind of turns in like NASCAR where there's a point system and whatever band has the most points would win this battle of the bands. So yeah, those are my ideas. Ajax, why don't you pile my ideas first?
Quite sweetly. First idea of the real lives of grandparents. I'm going to put this one leaning towards bad just because I feel like I might need to be forced to take a nap like halfway through the day or like halfway through the episode. Because I mean, as I get older, the reality is I would like to take more naps.
Yeah, but like that's going to be like montaged in and out.
Oh.
Like you remember like the Osbournes? Ozzy would be like passed out on the couch and it was kind of like glanced over and be like, oh, he is napping. But then it's only a fraction of the show's runtime.
Yeah, but then it's like, let's go to bingo. Let's watch the grandchildren. And then it's just like a whole bunch of babies running around doing
Let's go to the
things.
casino. Let's see what Henry down the hall has to do.
And then it's like their sex life too. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if I want to watch that on TV, even if it was me that was on that. So I'm sticking with my piling right now for that.
That's
one.
Fine.
for your second idea of fest culture, I'm going to put this in the ideas pile leaning towards good, just because there's a lot of different fest cultures out there, which you want to touch on, which I like. I like that because there's a different genres, but a lot of times there's a lot of substances involved that you would have to be really on to understand what the excitement of is for that. So if you're not in the know, it might be a little complicated because if you're not there, but I don't know. I'll put this in the ideas. I watch it. So there, I'm leaving it there. So for your third idea of Princess and the Penis, I just can't get over the name of it. I think drag competitions would be pretty interesting. And I know there's a whole different drag world out there, and there's a whole like world of houses and a lot of different things out there too, which is stuff that is not typically shown in any source. So I think they'll be interesting. So this is a good ideas pile. The reality TV show, I'll also put in the good ideas pile, just because like after watching the challenge and seeing how the producers sometimes get involved, especially when there's like absolutely drama and fist fights, there has to be some behind the scenes work that is going to be rather interesting to be like, okay, this was really, really boring, but we're going to make this interesting. There might be some really cool scenes from that. And then for your fifth idea of making the band,
like making the battle of the bands. We'll call it that.
Making the battle of the bands. I mean, I'm a big fan of Battle of the Bands TV shows anyway, since I'm going to go see Flick or Stick. Yeah, I'll put this in good ideas, pal, just because I like making the band shows. I mean, O-Town, I'd watch that.
You would.
I like Jacob. He was my favorite. And those are my pilings.
Thank you so much, Ajax. Alex, what about your pilings?
All right. So, Kate, for your first idea of the real lives of grandparents, I'm going to put this in the ideas pile. I could see both sides of the argument. I could see where it's literally if you go into a nursing home and you just sit there and watch people play checkers and look at the door hoping their kids show up. And then you have other ones where if they're more active, they might be going out and doing things, or like you could plan, activities to make things more exciting and make more things happen if they're more energetic and outgoing. I could see both sides of the argument, which is why I'm putting smack dab in the ideas pile, especially if you get those frisky grandmas. I'm just saying. For your second idea of festival culture, this one's going straight in the bad ideas pile, and you're like, maybe not. I don't know. It sounds kind of boring. And then you said there were sports festivals, and then it immediately went in the bad ideas pile because exercise is for nerds. For your third idea of the Princess and the Penis, which again, if you're going to go on network TV, that's going to need some rework on the titling. But I get it. I get what you're going for.
Why is penis such a bad word?
Well, it depends. If you're on like HBO or you're on like Netflix, you can get away with stuff like that.
Why can't you say penis on national television?
You can if it's in the right
word.
You can say penis if it's in educational purposes.
Why
for the title of a show,
you should be able to refer to penis and vagina freely. Yeah. I firmly believe that.
So it's supposed to be Princess and the Male Genitalia.
Well, then it should be like Dynasty and the Dick. Like,
there you go. And you have the host is named Dick. See, then it's okay.
I hate censorship.
It's not about censorship. It's about it's a play on words.
No, I hate the fact that I can't have a TV show called Princess and the Penis, and that's controversial.
Just not on cable TV.
No, I want it on channel 10.
Yeah.
Like 3, 6, 10, 12, 13, 22.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Sorry. Again, the show itself isn't controversial. It considering RuPaul's Drag Race and how popular it is, but just the title is. But I'm not letting that sway my piling of it. But I'm going to put this in the ideas going towards good, because I think with how popular it is, even though that's not something I would watch necessarily, I just don't like that style of reality TV show, but I think a lot of people would, to see a different side of kind of the drag queen life. So yeah, I'm going to put ideas going towards good, but you need to work on the title. All right. So for your fourth idea of your reality TV, I put this in the bad ideas pile, Number one, it sounds kind of boring because it's a reality TV show about how do you make a reality TV. Secondly, if they're doing reality TV, you want to create drama. So I mean, obviously in the show they're talking about how to create drama, but I would assume they're going to try and manufacture some drama for these people that are just doing their jobs. Now, if you said this was a documentary, that makes a lot more sense. But a reality show about making a reality show and then putting these people who are just doing their jobs have to also be entertaining. Like, are they getting paid for it? I would hope. But these are the kind of things where I don't feel good about it. So I'm putting in the bad ideas pile. And your last idea of the band draft reality show, the concept is amazing. I really like the concept, but I'm only putting this idea as going towards good because of the venue part of it. Like, you had me until you said they're going to start up in small venues. I like the audience interaction side. I think that's great. I don't understand why you have to start off in a small venue, because if you do the small venue idea, you have to still have all the camera equipment to show it on TV. So, conceptually, I know where you're going. It makes sense conceptually, but in practice, for a show, if you want it to be popular, you're going to have half the show or half the venue in the smaller ones is going to be the camera crew. I don't like that part of the idea. I just don't.
So the reasoning behind that was if you have inexperienced musicians,
yeah,
and you throw them into a band with other experience levels, and then you throw that band in front of 30,000 people, most people are going to shit their pants.
They're going to shit their pants either way because they're going to be in front of 30,000 people, whether they make the draft or not.
Well, that's the thing. This is after the teams are picked, by the way. This isn't during like the whole draft part.
Yeah.
If you have the people get used to performing in front of a band in smaller venues, it's a lot easier than to adjust to larger and larger venues. Yeah. So that's why it was like smaller to larger. And it also gives like the musicians a chance to really like connect with the audience and get a feel for how to connect with the audience when it's a smaller audience. It really does take a lot of talent to play a stadium and have the crowd under your thumb. It's not something that you can just pull out of your ass easily.
Oh, no. The ending, having the big stadium, I don't have an issue with that, but it's just saying having them start in a tiny little venue, like not a dive bar, but a bar with a stage. I don't think it would translate as well. And yes, your logic is very sound, especially if you're getting inexperienced. But here's the thing: if you're going on the show, if you progress, you're going to get to that spot. You have to be okay. Even when you're in the draft part, you're still in front of a camera, and you could be seen by thousands of people.
Well,
and
I get that, but like, there's one thing to be prepared for it, and then never having any experience doing it.
But I also find that more interesting because that's part of the show. That's part of the drama, if you will. Because you're going to have people that are experienced musicians that haven't been in front of 30,000 and only have done dive bars. And they might get nervous once they see 200 people versus the guy who's been doing it for a year, very inexperienced, but has no problem with crowds at all. I think that has more of that part to it, because you have an experienced person who's never made it big, even if they've got talent, because they have stage fright. But you may not know that until you get to the draft, or, maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
So I personally would rather see it. Like, I just don't see the small venue part making sense. Medium size and then working your way up, maybe, but not the tiny ones. It doesn't make any sense to me. Other than that, conceptually, it's a great idea. And those are my poundings.
Thank you so much, Alex. Ajax, why don't you give us your ideas?
Why, certainly. So for my first idea, I would like a reality TV show of life as a famous serial killer. A lot of these guys are in jail, and also a lot of these guys or guys or girls, I'm assuming, gender non-specific. There's been an uptick in serial killer interest, at least in the TV world. So I really would like to see what it's like for them to be living day to day in this world where there is actually interest and people wanting to learn about them and wanting to watch things about them, what behind the scenes while they are in prison, and what is life like for them. So first idea is life of a famous serial killer. For my second idea is going to be homelessness, but then into a tiny home. because there are a lot of a big push about people having tiny homes, home communities. And I would love to see the start from people who are homeless and living within the community of people that are quote unquote homeless, living in their domains, but then living in houses and living in smaller communities that are with an indoor component to them, just to see what that transition is like, and also how the community changes now that they go from living outside in the elements to living in an indoor space with hot water or heat and all of these different advantages to living indoors. So I would like to see that transition from homelessness to a homed person or community if it was a large, broader sense of people. So my third idea is not very far from Kate's idea of making the band. So my idea is making the band versus the band. I would like to have a band, like each season could be like a different band if this was to be from season to season. And the band would be like, bands, Backstreet Boys, the Flaming Lips, New Kids on the Block, the Motet, any type of band. But there will be an audition process of finding each of the different members of the band, of that band, and that same music. And then once the band is chosen, they will eventually compete to be against the original band. So which band is the better band? The one of the originals or the one of the newly formed people? Who can perform the music better? Who would have the attention of the audience? Like, who would win of that battle of bands? So the winner of said making the band versus the band would get headliner the tour, and the band that would lose would be the opening act. So both bands would still be involved and in the winner. So it could be the original band, which everybody knows and loves, Backstreet Boys, Creed, you name it, a band. But then would they compete with the making the band? So those are my ideas. Alex, would you like to pile my ideas?
I'll definitely give it a go. Not going to make any promises, but I'll give it a go.
Don't make any promises that you can't keep.
I promise I won't make any promises.
Thank you.
So for your first idea of life as a famous serial killer, I'm going to put this one straight in the bad ideas pile. Not because people aren't interested in hearing about the lives of serial killers, but I think it glorifies them too much. And I don't like that. These are people that are psychologically ill and have hurt people. And people already love that kind of stuff and want to, they become pen pals and try and marry them. It's already weird enough to do that. And no. Documentaries are fine. That's already bad enough. Or the multitude of podcasts that talk about this kind of stuff. Getting them involved. No, just a straight bad idea. Number 2, homelessness to tiny home living. I think this is a good idea. I think it'd be interesting. I would be very interested in seeing how people transition, how it goes, especially if there's a follow-up after 6 months, or if this is something where they build tiny home communities, but the communities, how do they work out on their own? Does this help them transition to a working life? Gives them more motivation because they have something of their own. Because eventually, do they have to pay their taxes on it if they own the house? What about who's paying the electricity or the water? Do they have to do they get a certain amount of time with that for free? I don't know. I'm just saying. But it'd be interesting to watch and see how they adjust to it, or are they unable to for some reason, and can't do it, or some can because they just really had a hard time. And this is just the first leg up they needed to at least have a positive impact on their life. I don't know, but it would be interesting to know that side. And for your last idea of making the band versus the band, I'm going to put this one in the ideas pile because I know where you're going with it. And it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I don't know if making the band would ever really have a chance. Number one, people that have really never met until this moment, having to work together and make a quality band and then go against a band that is extremely experienced, popular. It's one thing if you had one-hit wonders that you're doing this with, and you might get away with that. But like you're bringing out like big hit names like Backstreet Boys and Creed and all these other stuff. Good big bands and popular bands that are very famous still. Wink. I don't know. It's making the band, but it's like having an episode where they just do the same song, but try and do their own version against the original done by the original band. Okay, I get it, but it feels very one-note-ish. I don't know, but I'm not saying no to it because there's something there. So it's an idea. Also, the prize. I don't think any band would, like real band that is still touring, would ever go, oh yeah, we'll give up our being the main one to become a possible headliner against these no-name people who we have to actually sell tickets for. I don't think that's going to happen. So I would say becoming the headliner for that band, even if they beat them, would be interesting because that's how a lot of bands get their start and then go. And then maybe at another tour, the other band would be the headliner. Who knows? That has happened, but that's all I'm saying. I think a better prize would be in order. And those are my pilings.
Thanks, Alex. And Kate, would you like to pile my ideas?
I would love to pile your ideas. So your first idea for life as a famous serial killer. I am one that is very interested in serial killers. As a female living in a city, I'd like to know what serial killers are thinking because that helps me to not be prey. It kind of keeps me aware of my surroundings, what to look for. Politeness. Women are often victims of these crimes because we are taught at a young age not to be impolite. We are supposed to be very polite. We're supposed to be accommodating, especially to people in need. And Ted Bundy used that to his advantage several times. So yeah, I like to know what serial killers are thinking. So for your idea of giving them a reality TV show, I think is a bad idea because it's giving them more attention, more notoriety, and it's not really helping us figure them out. A lot of these people are very sick individuals, and a lot of them do things just for the attention. So if you've never seen Serial Mom, that's a great example about these people who are obsessed with serial killers and want to get to know serial killers on a personal level. It's very sick and twisted. It's a John Waters movie, and it's one of his least offensive movies. I think Hairspray might be his least offensive, but underneath that would be Serial Mom. I love that movie. So as a person who is involved in that whole serial killer, like I love podcasts, just figuring out things about serial killers and how to avoid them. I wouldn't want to get to know a serial killer up close and personal as you would on a reality TV show. Plus, then it brings a whole nother light to what they did and might do like copycat killings then, because then it's like now I can get famous and have my own reality TV show if I murder a bunch of women and cut up their bodies and keep trophies. So bad idea. Homelessness into tiny homes. Similar to Alex's critiques, I'm going to put this in the ideas pile leaning towards good. Do you remember like Pimp My Ride, MTV's Pimp My Ride? A lot of people on that show had their rides pimped, and then they would take out like the monitors and like the TV screens because they actually didn't have the funding for those items. So it actually left their car in disarray. So I would hate for us to put homeless people into tiny homes and then have the homeless people can't afford utilities, can't afford the electricity, can't afford the property taxes. Also, homelessness, there's a lot more to the problem than just not having a home. There's mental health, there's just work skills, education. There's a lot of compounding problems. One of the main problems is, yes, they're living on the streets, and that's awful. So giving them a tiny home and then maybe following their journey into getting education, getting job skills, getting to a place where they could afford the property taxes, utilities, and stuff, I think that would be a great thing to watch. So ideas leaning towards good as long as you get all those logistical problems out. And then making the band versus the band. I like this. I would watch this. I would watch the shit out of this. So it's going in the good ideas pile. I would love to see Nickelback versus a band that was put together, or even like bands that not one-hit wonders, but like aged bands. So bands like maybe from the 90s that haven't had a hit in 20 years, but in their heyday were like awesome. They just haven't toured in forever. That would be a cool band to pick. And then also just watching the interactions between the actual band and the up and coming band, like pranks and green room shenanigans and, even like a little mentoring. I think that would be really interesting to watch. So yeah, I'm going to put this in the good ideas pile. And those are my pilings.
Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome, Ajax. And speaking of thanks, we should thank our listeners.
Thank you, listeners.
Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and listening to the podcast.
Thank you for listening. If you want to listen to more episodes, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, Stitcher, Anchor, anywhere where you can find podcasts. If you have a podcasting platform which you cannot find Ideas All Day, please email us at ideasallday.podcast@gmail.com. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram at Ideas All Day Podcast. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.